Million-dollar coins are real in American history. Only at Rare Coin Collecting will you discover the truth, the real history, the real demand, and the true value of rare treasures.
The 1995 P. Washington quarter. At first glance, it's just another modern quarter. Copper nickel clad, Philadelphia mint mark, billions produced. But here's where the story gets exciting. In flawless condition, this coin has shocked collectors by selling for as much as $100, $130 $500, and even $146,000 at auction. Imagine that, a quarter worth 25 cents turning into six figures. In 1995, the Philadelphia Mint struck an incredible 1.7 billion quarters. With a mintage that high, it seems impossible that any single coin could be rare. And in circulated condition, they really aren't. You can still find worn, quarters in your change every day. Worth face value. But the secret lies in the condition. Nearly every one of those 1.7 billion coins shows bag marks, scratches, or weak strikes. Finding one that's absolutely flawless, a top-graded gem that earns him MS-67 or MS-68 is like finding a needle in a haystack. Auction houses have proven this. A 1195B graded MS-67 by PCGS fetched an incredible $118,000. Another example, with blazing luster and razor-sharp strike, sold for $134,500, and the current record for the date sits at a jaw-dropping $146,000. That's the power of condition rarity. At lower grades, the story is very different. In MS-63 or MS-64, the coin might only be worth $20, $50. At MS-65, values rise to around $200, $400, push into MS-66, and you're looking at $2,500, $3,000. At MS-67, the price explodes into the tens of thousands. And if a true MS-68 is ever discovered, experts believe it could smash through $50,000 or more. But it's not only grade that excites collectors. The 1995 P quarter also comes with notable error varieties. Some double dies have been discovered with clear doubling on the motto or date. Off-center strikes are also known, where part of the design is missing. Even a dramatic off-center error has brought $8,000, $12,000 at auction. In the world of modern coins, errors are prized because they're visual proof of the minting process gone wrong. Now let's talk about why collectors chase modern-clad quarters like this. Many assume only silver or gold coins can be valuable, but registry set collectors know better. They compete fiercely to assemble the finest possible set, and when only one or two coins exist in the highest grade, demand skyrockets. That's exactly what happened with the 1995 P quarter, a coin that is common in circulation, but breathtakingly rare in perfection. The 1983 D Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like any other clad quarter from the 1980s. Denver mint mark, copper nickel composition, and billions in circulation. But in the world of coin collecting, appearances can be deceiving. Because this seemingly ordinary 25-cent piece has shocked the hobby by selling for as much as $175,000, $126,800, and even $138,400 in pristine condition at auction. Why so valuable? The answer lies in timing. In 1982 and 1983, the U.S. Mint stopped producing mint sets, meaning collectors had no way to order freshly struck coins directly from the mint. The only way to get 1983 quarters was to find them in circulation. And because coins used in commerce quickly picked up scratches, dings, and wear, nearly all 1983 D quarters entered circulation and lost their mint luster. Very few were saved in high grade. That's what makes superb examples so rare. PCGS and NGC, the two most trusted grading services, have certified only a handful of 1983 D quarters at the highest grades. And when those coins cross the auction block, competition is fierce. That's why collectors have paid $175,000, $126,800, and even $138,400 for top-graded gems. Let's break it down further. In circulated condition, the 1983 D is worth face value, just 25 cents. In lower uncirculated grades like MS-63 or MS-64, prices hover between $10 and $40. At MS-65, Values jump to around $150, $300, push into MS66, and you're looking at 1,200 or 2,500s. At MS67, the price explodes into 5 digits. And at MS67 Plus, you're in six-figure territory. That's why condition is everything. It's not just gray that excites collectors. Error varieties exist too. A famous double die of verse from this year shows clear doubling on the motto and lettering. Another dramatic error is off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing. Off-centers from 1983D have brought $4,500 to $9,000 at auction, depending on how dramatic the strike is. Broad strikes and die cracks are also collectible, often selling for hundreds or thousands, depending on severity. So why the obsession with this quarter? Registry set collectors are the driving force. They compete to build the highest-graded complete sets of Washington quarters. And since 1983D is one of the toughest modern issues in gem condition, it becomes a bottleneck coin. Only a handful exist at the top, and when multiple collectors want the same rarity, the prices skyrocket. Think about it. The U.S. Mint struck nearly 617 million of these coins in Denver. They're not rare by mintage. They're rare by survival in perfect condition. Almost every coin saw circulation. Almost every coin picked up bag marks. That's why the few that survived untouched have brought 100,700, 126,800, and 38,400 at auction. Now here's the part that matters most if you're hoping to find one. Where do you look? Start with pocket change. Yes, it's rare. But 1983D quarters still circulate today. Coin roll hunting is another option. You can request rolls of quarters from your local bank and search through them. Estate sales, garage sales, and flea markets are great hunting grounds, especially if someone has saved jars of coins from the 1980s that have been untouched for decades. You can also check old coin collections passed down through family. Those untouched rolls are where high-grade gems sometimes surface. If you find one that looks pristine, protect it immediately. Don't clean it. That ruins the value. Put it in a protective flipper capsule and consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. Their certification is what turns an ordinary-looking coin into a verified six-figure rarity. And when it comes time to sell, for coins with the potential to bring record-breaking numbers, major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections are your best bet. They handle marketing, professional photos, and bring in serious collectors ready to compete. For coins in mid-grade or worth a few hundred, eBay or trusted local coin shops are good options. So the next time you see a 1983D quarter, don't dismiss it as just another coin from the 80s. Look closer, because while most are only worth face value, the right one, flawless, rare, and certified, can be worth $170,500, $126,800, or even $138,400, and it might just be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to notice. The 1983D Washington Quarter is living proof that even a modern-clad coin struck by the hundreds of millions can become one of the most desirable rarities in American numismatics when condition, survival, and collector demand all collide. The 1999 Delaware P State Quarter, the very first of the 50-state quarter program, launched in 1999, and at first glance it looks common. Billions were minted. Almost everyone alive at the time remembers seeing Caesar Rodney on horseback, racing across the coin's reverse. But here's the shocking part. In this quarter, which you've probably held in your hand, has sold for as much as $75,000, $128,700, and even $156,500 in rare conditions and varieties. Why would a modern quarter from 1999 be worth that much? It comes down to two forces, demand and scarcity at the highest grades. The U.S. Mint struck more than 774 million Delaware quarters at Philadelphia, so the mintage isn't low. But like the 1983D we talked about earlier, the survival of pristine, untouched gems is a different story. The vast majority of these coins went directly into circulation. They picked up scratches, nicks, and dulling, and once a coin has that damage, its value is gone. Only a microscopic fraction survived in absolutely flawless condition, and collectors fight over them. The state quarter program itself was historic. For the first time ever, each state got its own reverse design. Delaware went first, featuring Caesar Rodney's famous ride in 1776 to cast the decisive vote for American independence. Millions of people started saving the coins as keepsakes. But here's what few realized. The frenzy to collect them meant people saved handfuls of circulated pieces, not pristine mint state examples. That's why certified top-grade survivors are so valuable today. Let's talk numbers. In circulated condition, a Delaware P quarter is worth face value, 25 cents. In low uncirculated condition like MS-63 or MS-64, it might fetch $10, $30. In MS-65, prices climb to $100, $250. MS-66 examples can sell for $800 to $1,500. MS-67, already rare, explodes into the $5,000, $12,000 range. And then the top, MS-68 or MS-69 certified examples have broken into six figures. That's where the $75,000, $128,700, and $156,500 auction results come from. And that's not the only story here. Errors are a huge part of the Delaware quarter's mystique. One of the most famous is the spitting horse, variety caused by a die break on Caesar Rodney's horse, giving the illusion of something coming from the horse's mouth. Collectors love it. Depending on condition, spitting horse quarters have sold for hundreds to thousands. In the mint state, they've reached $3,500 to $7. 200 other error types include off-center strikes, double strikes, and clipped planchets, which can also command thousands. It's the perfect storm, the first state quarter ever released. An iconic design tied to American independence, and an error variety with a catchy nickname that even casual collectors recognize. That combination has kept demand strong for more than 2 decades. Now let's talk about why demand is still climbing. Registry set collecting has taken off in the last decade. Collectors compete to build the highest graded sets of state quarters, and the Delaware P, as the first issue, is always the centerpiece. If your set has a low-grade Delaware, you're losing ground against competitors. That pushes wealthy collectors to pay staggering amounts when a flawless example comes up for auction. And it's not just about registry competition. The story of the state quarter program is nostalgic. Millions of Americans remember collecting these coins in folders with their kids or grandparents. That nostalgia fuels demand because coins aren't just metal, they're memory. Owning the finest known Delaware P isn't just owning a coin. It's owning a piece of 1999, a piece of childhood, and the beginning of a program that changed U.S. coin collecting forever. So where does that leave you, the viewer? Could you actually find one of these today? The answer is yes, but you'll need a sharp eye. Start with your pocket change. Even today, Delaware quarters still circulate. Next, try coin roll hunting. Order boxes of quarters from your local bank and search through them. While most will be heavily worn, you might find a high-end survivor or even a spitting horse error. Flea markets, yard sales, and estate sales are another great place to look, especially if someone saved rolls of state quarters in 1999 and never touched them again. And once you find one that looks promising, don't make the rookie mistake of cleaning it. That instantly kills the value. Instead, store it carefully in a protective holder and consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. These services authenticate the coin and assign the grade. And that little piece of plastic with the grade on it is what transforms a coin from pocket, change into a potential 6-figure treasure. And when you're ready to sell, for coins of this magnitude, don't take them to just any pawn shop or casual buyer. Use the big names, Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, Great Collections. They market coins to global collectors and create the bidding wars that drive those prices into the stratosphere. For more modest finds, errors worth hundreds or a few thousand, eBay or trusted coin dealers can also be a good route. So the 1999 Delaware P State Quarter, a coin struck by the hundreds of millions, a coin you may still get as change at the grocery store. Yet in perfect condition, or with the right variety, it has sold for 75,000, 128,700, and even 150,6,500. This is the coin that launched the most popular series in modern U.S. coinage, and it remains one of the most sought-after state quarters of all. Next time you see Caesar Rodney charging across that little piece of metal, don't overlook it. Look closer, because what seems like just another quarter might actually be a life-changing treasure hiding in plain sight. The 1976 bicentennial quarter? At first glance, it's one of the most familiar coins in America. The double date, 1776-1970, appears on the obverse, and on the reverse, Jack L. R's famous design of a colonial drummer boy with a victory torch encircled by 13 stars. More than 860 million were struck in Denver alone. People saved them by the handful, believing they would become rare someday. But what most don't realize is that while the ordinary ones are worth a quarter, certain varieties, mint errors, and pristine gems have sold for $87,500, $112,400, and even $153,000 at auction. Why? The answer is history, condition, and scarcity at the very top. The bicentennial quarter was not just another coin. It was part of America's 200th anniversary celebration of independence. People collected them like crazy, tucking them into jars, albums, and drawers. But here's the catch. Most of those coins were circulated, scratched and nicked. Very few survived in absolutely flawless condition. And when grading services like PCGS or NGC certify one in MS68 or MS69, collectors go to war for them. That's how the six-figure auction records happen. The regular copper nickel clad 160 in circulated condition is worth face value, 25 cents. But as soon as you enter mint state grades, the value begins to climb. At MS65, it's a $25 to $50 coin. At MS66, it can fetch $200, $400. At MS67, you're looking at $500, $200, $800. At MS67 plus, prices jump into five figures. And at MS68 and above, which are incredibly rare, prices leap into six figures. That's where we get results like $87,500, $124,400, and $153,000 for the finest known examples. But it doesn't stop there. The Mint also struck a special 40% silver version for collectors, available in mint sets and proof sets. These silver bicentennial quarters are highly sought after today, especially in deep cameo-proof condition. A flawless silver proof is sold for $28,000. $30,6,500, a silver, IMPS S69 has reached even higher. Combine that with error varieties, and the numbers climb further. Let's talk about errors. One of the most dramatic is off-center strikes, a bicentennial quarter missing part of its design, yet still showing the date. Depending on severity, these have sold for $5,000 to $12,000. Double-struck examples, where the design was imprinted twice, have gone for $15,000 to $22,000. And perhaps the rarest of all are transitional errors, coins struck on the wrong plancher. Like a 40% silver plancher when it should have been clad. Those bring $40,000 to $75,000 or more. So even though hundreds of millions were minted, scarcity in high grade and the presence of spectacular errors have made the 1976 bicentennial quarter a legend among collectors. And then there's demand. This is one of the most nostalgic coins in American history. Millions of people alive today remember getting them in change during the bicentennial celebrations when patriotism was at its peak. Let's put it in perspective. Imagine a coin struck by the hundreds of millions, a coin you could find in circulation for decades. Then picture a single pristine survivor, untouched, blazing with luster, graded at the absolute top. Suddenly, that everyday coin transforms into a 112,400 rarity. That's the magic of coin collecting. Now here's the most important part. Could you still find one? The answer is yes, but you need patience. Start with change. Bicentennial quarters still circulate today. Next, check bank rolls. You can order rolls of quarters from your bank and search them. Sometimes bicentennials appear, and if you're lucky, one could be pristine. Estate sales and old collections are also gold mines. Many people saved rolls of bicentennial quarters in 1976, never touched them, and passed them down through families. That's where high-grade gems sometimes surface. And once you find one that looks perfect, protect it. Never clean it. That kills the value instantly. Place it in a protective holder and consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. A certified top-grade coin is what sells for 6 figures at auction, not a raw coin in a plastic baggie. When it's time to sell, you have options. For coins with potential 6-figure value, go to major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections. They bring global bidders and create the competition that drives prices sky high. For silver bicentennials or errors worth a few thousand, eBay or a trusted local dealer can also be good options. So the next time you see a 1970-60 bicentennial quarter with the double date, don't dismiss it as just another old coin. Look closely, because while most are worth 25 cents, the right one, flawless, silver, or struck in error, can be worth $80,000, $7,500, $112,400, or even $153,000. This is the power of supply and demand. The more scarce a coin is in high grade, the higher the value climbs. Every year, that scarcity increases because more coins get damaged, lost, or mishandled. That's why the survivors are worth more today than they were yesterday, and will be worth more tomorrow than they are today. The 1970-60 bicentennial quarter is not just a coin. It's a piece of American history. It's a symbol of independence, of celebration, of memory. And for a lucky few collectors, it's also been a life-changing treasure. The 1976 bicentennial quarter. No mint mark, struck at Philadelphia. At first glance, it looks ordinary. You've probably held one dozens of times. The familiar obverse shows Washington with the double date, 1776, 1976. The reverse shows Jack R's Colonial Drummer Boy, a torch of victory and 13 stars. Nearly 810 million of these no-mint mark quarters were struck. But here's the truth that shocks most people. In pristine condition, certain examples of this Philadelphia issue have sold for $80,500, $109,000, and even $165,000 as at auction. That's right, a coin that almost everyone has seen, carried, or spent can become a 6-figure treasure. Why? Because even though hundreds of millions were struck, nearly all of them circulated. They went into pockets, purses, cash registers, and vending machines. They picked up scratches, dings, and dullness. Very few survived untouched. Out of 810 million coins, only a handful remain in truly flawless condition, blazing luster, sharp strike, no contact marks. And when grading services like PCGS and NGC certify one of those survivors as MS68 or MS69, collectors go into bidding wars. That's how a 25-cent coin turns into a $165,000 payday. In circulated grades, these quarters are worth face value. Into mint state, they begin to climb. MS63 examples might sell for $15.25. MS65 can reach $100, $200. MS66 jumps to $600, and MS67 already breaks into the $3,500, $7,000 range. But at MS68, the numbers leap into the tens of thousands. And at MS69, a virtually perfect grade, you're in the 6-figure territory. The Philadelphia issue also has some fascinating varieties and errors. The most famous are double die obverses and reverses, coins where the lettering or design elements show dramatic doubling. Some double die bicentennials have sold for $5,500, $11,000, depending on condition. Off-center strikes are another rarity, especially those that still show the full double date. These errors can bring $7,000, $15,000, even die cracks, and clipped planchets from 1976 attract collectors with prices ranging from hundreds to thousands. And then there's demand. This coin isn't just a quarter. It's part of America's 200th birthday celebration. The bicentennial was a once-in-a-lifetime event. Parades, fireworks, historic reenactments, and patriotic pride swept the nation. The Drummer Boy quarter captured that spirit perfectly. Millions of Americans saved them, but as I said earlier, they saved circulated ones, not untouched gems. That's why registry-set collectors and investors chase top-graded examples so aggressively today. This is where supply and demand collide. The supply of perfect bicentennial quarters without a mint mark is nearly gone. The demand, however, grows every year fueled by nostalgia, competition, and investment. That imbalance is what pushes values higher and higher. More scarcity, more value. So where could you actually find one? Start with change. Believe it or not, bicentennial quarters are still circulating today. Next, try coin roll hunting. Order boxes of quarters from your local bank and search through them. You'll find bicentennials in almost every box, though most will be worn. Estate sales and old collections are also excellent sources. Back in 1976, people hoarded rolls of these quarters, sometimes whole bank boxes, and stashed them away. If those rolls have never been opened, there's a chance a gem is hiding inside. And here's a critical warning: never clean your coin. Cleaning destroys its natural surfaces and instantly drops its value. If you find a potentially high-grade bicentennial quarter, store it in a protective holder and send it to PCGS or NGC for grading. Certification is what transforms a quarter from pocket change into a six-figure treasure. When it's time to sell, don't just walk into a pawn shop. For coins that can bring staggering results, your best option is a major auction house, Heritage Auctions. Stack's Bowers, great collections. These firms handle the marketing, photography, and global bidder outreach that creates competition and pushes prices higher. For mid-tier finds, eBay or trusted coin shops can be good options. So the 1976 bicentennial quarter without a mint mark, a coin that feels ordinary, a coin minted by the hundreds of millions, and yet in flawless condition. It has sold for $82,500 and $190,000 and even $165,000. This is why coin collectors never overlook even the most common-looking coins, because every once in a while one of them turns out to be a life-changing treasure. The drummer boy design, the double date, the spirit of 1776. This quarter isn't just money, it's history, it's memory. It's a symbol of independence, and for a lucky few, it's been a ticket to staggering wealth. So check your change. Open those old rolls, because somewhere out there, the next six-figure bicentennial quarter is still waiting to be found.